perfect match. Chosen by science, but you had to marry them right this second. You would tell me, well, that sounds pretty whack. And I would add, you have 8 weeks to know if you really love them. You just got married at first sight. Jason and Aysha gonna tell you wrong from right. Are all these couples just disasters waiting to happen? Imagine if one of them could be a perfect match.
Welcome to A Perfect Match. We're here to talk about Married at First Sight, the musical. Welcome, y'all. You're on mute. You're on mute for some reason, Jason.
Yes, I was on mute. I thought I was muting you, but I was just muting myself.
Welcome to A Perfect Match, y'all. I'm Aysha, and we're here to talk, like I just said, we're here to talk about Married at First Sight, the musical episode. I didn't know we would get one of those ever.
Never before have I wished that I had a guitar just laying around somewhere to use as a prop in this intro. But yes, a lot of unfortunate musical interludes this episode. It was all of it, like both instances were just like secondhand cringe worthy moments there.
Right. Yes, I agree with you, Jason, my co-host. For those that are unacquainted, you just off to the races.
I thought you introduced me. I'm sorry. I wasn't paying
I was
attention.
just singing. And it wasn't. That's the thing. For those of you who watched episode 3 of Married at First Sight, it wasn't even that. It's just like the top musical talent out there.
No. It's and the thing was, it wasn't so for the Ikechi thing. It wasn't the guy singing. The guy singing was fine. It was Ikechi walking up there, like taking the mic from him. It's like, oh, you just have to be center of attention. You just have to be front and center.
For me, it was Ikechi singing along from the audience.
Ooh, that was
as
terrible.
if we all know this song. Yeah. What y'all doing?
That
thing
you do, the dimples in your smile, just literally. All right, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it when we get further. We're gonna talk about it when we get into their segment because we're gonna blow it all in the front.
When have we gotten a highlight from the musical guest at a reception?
It was amazing. Like whoever could have thought that was the thing that would happen. He's a very inventive gentleman. We'll just say that.
Yeah. So we're here to talk about, like I said, Married at First Sight, episode 3 of season 18. Thank you all so much for joining us. We have a lot to discuss here. We really spent a lot of time on all of the couples. So we have quite a lot to get through. Make sure you go subscribe to the Love at First Sight feed. That's where you can get all of our podcasts about Married at First Sight, as well as Love is Blind, which we will be wrapping up this week. Love is Blind season 7. The reunion is coming out this week, where we are covering that show with Mary Kukowski on this feed. So if you subscribe to this feed, you'll get all those podcasts here. And make sure you go leave us a 5-star rating and review. We really appreciate it when y'all let us know what you're enjoying and what you like about our coverage. We did get one that was pretty sweet and pretty nice. So I will shout out this person now. This is from Canston0306 with the clap hands emojis as the subject. 5 stars. I recently tuned into the latest episode of A Perfect Match hosted by Aysha and Jason, and I must say it is an absolute delight. The chemistry between them is palpable, and their dynamic makes for an engaging listening experience.
Agree. Beautiful. So far, very, very much agree.
Aysha brings such warmth and authenticity to the conversation, making listeners feel...
I don't know. Yeah. Keep going. Yeah, let's get to the good part.
Making listeners feel like they're part of a discussion among friends. Her insights are thought-provoking, and she has a wonderful ability to resonate with her listeners.
I think there's more.
Jason, on the other hand, no. Jason compliments her perfectly with his witty humor and sharp observations.
Oh, yes.
His playful banter with Aysha keeps the energy high and the laughs coming. Yeah. Together, they tackle a variety of reality shows like Married at First Sight, Love is Blind, etc. They also have a Facebook group you can join to discuss shows in detail with other listeners. It's a great online community. What a great ad.
Yes, it's almost like we wrote it ourselves. We didn't. This is a legit review.
You're like mouthing along.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a podcast that combines heartfelt discussions with humor and relatable content, A Perfect Match is a must listen. I can't wait for the next episode. Keep up the fantastic work, Aysha and Jason.
That was beautiful. It was wonderful. Thank you so much, Canston. That was great. I can't
kick off
5 stars to your 5-star review.
I loved it. It felt like the perfect way to show people. Look, that's the framework right there. If you want to know how to write a review, we appreciate the short and sweet ones too. Don't get me wrong, but that was beautiful.
We love all great 5-star reviews, but I mean, when you can just succinctly just capture the essence of us in this podcast. I mean, the Aysha stuff was like, kind of, but you know, it's great. We love it.
Yeah. So thank y'all so much. And as Canston0306 mentioned, make sure you go join the Facebook group. We officially hit 1,000 members in that group, which is amazing because this just started as an idea from Jason. Was like, hey, let's create a Facebook group. We can like talk about the show or something in there. And so it organically grew from listeners of this podcast and people. Like the only way this Facebook group stays alive is because of y'all and y'all's discussions, y'all's comments, the engaging back and forth that happens.
Listen, real talk, maybe the only reason this podcast is still going partly is because of that Facebook group.
Because of the honestly.
We're trendsetters. I mean, the higher ups at Rhap has podcast, the R from RHAP, he's like, wow, this is a great idea. And he's like, wants other podcasts to do it. So I mean, listen, we're out here innovating, we're trend setting, like we love it. And you know, I love that, you know, when we first started the group, it was just like we were posting in there, constantly posting.
We were trying to drive the conversation.
Yeah, and now it kind of goes on its own. So it's, you know, we got people starting topics. If we don't post the episode discussion, they'll post it for us. If it's like 8:01 and we haven't posted, like, oh, guess I forgot. Here's a discussion. So we love that. Exactly. We love we have such an active and, more importantly, just kind of nice group.
Respectful.
As I've said before, I've been in other Married at First Sight Facebook groups and it's a dumpster fire in there. But the fact that we have such great people that are not toxic is a heaven sent. We've really never had to block people or delete stuff due to, you know, toxicity or whatever.
Yeah.
So we love that. We love our Facebook group. If you want to come and join the fun, there's a way to do that.
Yeah. Look up A Perfect Match podcast on Facebook. And there is a Facebook password. That's how we make sure that we don't just have any and everybody joining. And we just make robots. Sure that you're joining. So you listen to this podcast. If you're taking the time to listen, you're probably a cool person and you probably would be okay in there.
Listen, and we abide by this password thing. You won't believe how many people that I'm like, nope, you didn't put in a password.
Decline with feedback. Put the password.
Put the password in.
Yeah.
And listen, if you are a Married at First Sight participant that may have slipped past us, that's happened too. We've had
that was at the very beginning.
Yeah,
we were still working through the cracks.
Yeah, we don't know how that name slipped through us, but we had Jasmine from a couple seasons ago in our Facebook group. We didn't even know.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't looked through the names for this season, but I don't know if we got someone in there. But this week, if you want to get in, you want to talk about the show, you want to talk about the episode, the password is that thing you do. Yes. Thank you.
That was amazing.
That thing you do, the platinum hit from Married at First Sight. They're gonna start using it as a theme song now for Married at First Sight. I heard.
Well, look, I did listen to your episode over on Altar Call. Great job.
Oh, yes,
it was nice hearing some additional thoughts from you. It wasn't just like you repeated yourself from this podcast.
Yeah, I tried not to. I tried to come fresh with some stuff.
Right. And I did hear, so y'all mentioned how one of Ikeche's friends was promoting his album. Is this the friend?
I don't know. I'm not sure, but it felt really like he was promoting his friend. Like, listen to my friend singing. Someone signed him to a record contract. It gave that feel to it, and it was off-putting. It was odd. It was weird. I didn't love it.
I didn't think it would, I didn't think something like that would make the cut.
I think it was so awkward and weird feeling for me that it had to make the cut. It just had to.
Yeah, I guess. So one more thing to get into before we dive into these couples. In honor, well, not in honor, but we all know this week is Halloween, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to make sure that y'all were able to see my babies dressed up for Halloween. And this is an exclusive. I'm posting this on Halloween. So if you're listening to this podcast, you will see this before anybody else, before it goes out into the internet. So that's if you're listening, if you're watching on YouTube. But are you ready, Jason? Jason hasn't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen this yet. We want to get my live reaction on the podcast to the Spice Girls 2024 Halloween photo shoot.
Yes. Okay. All right. Let's check them out, you guys. They are
okay.
The player and the guard from Squid Game.
Okay. This is why you asked me pre-show if I'd ever seen Squid Game.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, that is so freaking sweet. Okay. Now let me try this. The one on the left is
in the player costume.
The player costume is Pepper.
Yes.
You know why I think that? You know why I know that? Feels like Pepper has this like old man mustache going on. And I know that she is the older of
She is, yes.
Your
she
girls.
Is older.
So that's
she's more seasoned.
Yeah, it's like my pneumatic device now for like remembering which one is which. Pepper has the old man mustache. And Cinnamon just has a youthful, fresh,
pep in her step,
fluffy, white fur. Pepper's been through some stuff. Pepper had a tough only child life before Cinnamon came along. So
Pepper had to go through me learning how to have a dog.
There you go. You had to learn how to be a mother.
Yes.
She suffered through that childhood trauma. She suffered through that trauma so that Cinnamon could come along and have the most luxurious doggy life that you can think, because you already figured it out by the time Pepper came around, or Cinnamon came around. Sorry.
Listen, the easiest way to tell them apart is the ears. Pepper has black mixed into her ears, and Cinnamon is just all white.
Gotcha. It'll be the old man mustache for me. That's how I'll do it. But that's very sweet, very cute. Yes. Of course, every and how much was this? This is probably like $1,000 or something at your little doggy daycare.
It was
scam people into getting these pictures for
$20 per dog.
All right, that's not a bad deal. It's not a bad deal.
So for such a cute photo,
look at them. They are so seasoned. They're seasoned vets. They look right into the camera. Mm-hmm. They play along. Just telling you.
And they're serious for the theme of the show. Because usually Pepper will be smiling, but they said, look, okay, we're serious. Yeah. There's money on the line. I got players to protect.
Yeah. Did they have like those little Well, it wasn't like you just dressed them up as this. This wasn't like a theme of the Halloween.
No, it was just bring them in. Like you could bring them in a costume, or they'll give them something to dress up in. It was the Halloween costume.
They forced them to dress in their costume.
Well, no, they'll put. I think it was like a Halloween handkerchief or something.
Like if you're broke and can't afford a dog costume, we got you. Although if you're going to this doggy daycare, I'm sure you're not broke.
Look, I'm not new to this by any means. So much so to the point that I walked in a couple times ago, and they were like, oh, "I saw you on TV." I said, "They're like, yeah, I literally was watching." And I said, "Is that Pepper and Cinnamon's mom?"
Oh my gosh. Sheesh.
That's how often I go. There's so many dogs at this daycare, but they were able to look at me,
zero in on you.
Yeah, on Survivor, and said, "Oh my gosh, that's Pepper and Cinnamon's mom."
Survivor. I'm surprised you didn't, just casually drop it as you were, dropping them off. Like, oh, I just had to drop them off. I'm having a premiere party tonight because I don't know if you heard or not. I'm on Survivor.
No, I'm not. Clearly, I'm not that type of person.
Clearly.
All right. Enough chit chat.
Enough.
Sorry,
we're 16
y'all.
minutes in. Like, let's get to
They're
the
like,
episode.
oh, when are they gonna start talking? I know. We're gonna start talking about it now. So, first up, we have David and Michelle.
David and Michelle. Yikes.
Yeah. So we come off of last week, like, okay, how is it gonna be? We got the beginning of their wedding. We weren't sure, like, okay, is he gonna be attracted to her? Is she gonna be attracted to him? So they did the recap. Like, we basically see all the stuff that we saw last week and like short clips of preparing for her to walk down the aisle. She finally walks down the aisle. He does a little I don't know if you noticed that.
Him? I'm thinking about her.
That's her real laugh, though.
I swear, in the control room, they were probably like, let's crank this up a little bit, the volume, because it was ears. I don't know if he didn't ever hear her laugh before this, or if they chose to like just really zero in on this and turn up the volume, but I was clocking it every time. Every time she's like, I was like, what is that? What is going on?
Why do you have that spot on?
I said, what is that? Did she swallow a horn? What's going on?
I couldn't get past his, like, I don't know if it was a nervous laughter. I don't know what was the vibe.
The two laughs. I can't believe you focused on that one.
Because hers was so real that it highlighted how fake his was.
I guess
his felt like a forced laugh.
I didn't even clock his laugh at all because I was so busy just thinking of that laugh in my mind.
Here's our homework. We both go back and listen to the other person's laugh.
Yeah, listen to it and tell me that they didn't.
No, I heard her laugh.
In post-production, they were just like, it'd be so funny if we just cranked up the volume on her laugh. So it really was obvious that this is a weird laugh.
Listen, I believe a day without laughter is a day wasted. I love
a day without that laughter. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I love when people can just laugh and enjoy life.
She did it a lot.
She's a laugher. Okay. He does say, "Hey, hello, beautiful." And then she's like, "Oh, these are my parents." He introduces himself to her parents. He's like, "I'm David." She's like, "Oh, that's your name."
Yeah, I thought it was very sweet that he like took the time to really just kind of, introduce himself to the parents and thank them for supporting her or whatever. I thought it was very sweet of him.
Yeah, and I thought it was really sweet how he said it too. Like, he's like, "Your daughter is very courageous to do this in the first place." I was like, okay, good. She introduces herself to him, and then we started getting into the wedding of it all. So her family wants him to know she's a small town country girl at heart, but she's been destined to live in the big city. She's a perfect balance of tough and sensitivity. She does love a night out, but she also cherishes a quiet night in with 3 babies. Uh-oh. What, baby?
Oh my God. I feel like we get this every season now.
I know. This is not Love is Blind. They
Yeah.
are 3 animals, not 3 children.
I'm sure you can't wait to
3
meet.
human children before you start.
Yeah. I'm sure you can't wait to meet a Walter, Trixie, and something else.
I did not even get the names. She also marches to the beat of her own drum. Another wife does that. That's what another family said about another one of these wives. His family wants her to know that family means everything to him. He's a loyal son, uncle, and brother. He does have a loud family. He's a mama's boy. He gets his big heart and his strength from his mom. And although he may look like a caveman, he's a gentle giant with a teddy bear heart. And she's like, a modern day caveman.
Yeah.
It's like, and so we get her vows. She pulls an Ikechi. Where have you been hiding?
Yeah, I was like, that's weird. Did Michelle and Ikechi get together, write their vows together? Like,
Right.
Where you been?
Where you been?
Where have you been hiding?
Where have you been? No, okay. Should I say, I've been looking for you? No. You got to ask it in a question.
Should I be proper and say, where have you been hiding? Or should I do that? Where you been?
Where you been? No, okay, that sounds too similar to you. Let
Yeah.
me say, where have you been hiding?
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, that's good.
We're good.
That's another that makes it different enough.
You know, I got a friend who can put that in a song for you. Like, I can have him show up. And he can sing that.
And Juan says, "What?
I can dance to it. I can sing and dance to it.
Right.
To the salsa."
We get to the vows. She says, "Where have you been hiding?" Feels good to be in company of someone who is just as insane as herself. She can't wait to see what's in store for them. And she says that she'll dream big with him. His vows are there 3 things to create their love: loyalty, honesty, and respect. Do you think those will be present?
The amount of times that he talks about how loyal he is,
Yes,
worries me. Especially consider. Oh, and we didn't mention this, but we got the best part of the season this episode with this season on.
Oh,
yeah, and it looks like it's going to be quite a wild ride.
Yes,
this season.
with that,
And, I was just salivating. We had all the good stuff in the beginning. I was like, all right, come on, get to it, get to my favorite part.
And then it did it. Yeah, I watched it twice.
Yeah, I did.
But don't worry, y'all. We'll tell y'all what was in it.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be an interesting ride, and again, as much as David talks about loyalty, honesty, and respect, that season preview, I don't know if that's what he's really about.
maybe it was chopped together. We don't know.
Listen, we Married at First Sight is very deceptive. This could be something totally not what's happening. I feel like it might be though. But yeah, we'll see.
And so he promises to cherish her love, her mind, her body, and he's confident that they can succeed in this journey together. They both say I do. And it's at this moment, now that we're hearing him talk more and more and more, that I believe that he sounds just like Common.
Like Common?
Yes. Have you seen Common? Think Just Right, the movie.
The 2009 movie.
No one asked you to pull out the date. I like that movie.
Yeah, it's a fine movie, I guess.
No, I go listen to Common talk and listen to David talk. I feel like it's like the same.
I feel like I've heard
tone
Common
of
talk.
Voice, same diction.
I'm gonna have to look that up because I did not get Common at all.
Somebody leave it in the Facebook group if you also close your eyes and see Common.
Do you do that a lot?
Did I close my eyes a lot?
Do you close your eyes to see Common a lot? Is that what you're doing?
When he's talking, yes.
Oh, I thought you just meant in general.
Oh.
Just close my eyes. I see Common.
Only when David is talking. Oh my gosh.
Oh, you're right there.
Okay, so anyway, they sit down after like they've walked out of the wedding. They do their sit down. We get a confessional from him. He said this is a big sigh of relief. He hit the jackpot, and he's just waiting for somebody to hop out and say he got punked.
Are we still using that reference? I mean, he is 36. He's in the right. He's in the right.
True. You
right,
think people would upgrade it to like, is this Impractical Jokers?
Am I getting a practical joke right now? Doesn't really roll off the tongue as Punk does, I guess.
Right.
But I don't know. David kind of strikes me as someone that watches old clips of Punk, so it doesn't really surprise me that he's using still using that terminology.
Right. Starts referencing old shows. Is this next? Am I on Room Raiders?
Good, they're gonna have to date your mom. All those old MTV gems.
Right, just got transported. So he says they did nail her appearance to a T. He really likes her blonde hair, her dark blue eyes. He asked for an independent woman, like who can do her own thing. So they're talking. She tells him she's 38. He says, "Oh, I turned 36 today. I was waiting to see when I should drop this on you." She's like, "Oh my gosh, I wasn't prepared for the gift."
Oh my god, it's your birthday.
She said she didn't have a gift. He said, "You're the gift."
Oh.
He's like,
and then he proceeds to ruin her day.
He says, "So, do you drink a lot?" And she's like, "Socially." He's okay, yeah.
Me too.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm always bringing up stuff I only do socially.
Totally.
Yeah.
Because it's like I said last episode when Carla's asking Juan, like, so do you go out a lot? That means she goes out a lot. When Dave's like, so you drink? He's like, no. She's like, yeah, totally. I don't drink. He's like, when I get home, I'll even crack a beer. Cut to his mini fridge in his basement apartment, probably chock full of beer.
Right. It's not like I would be sitting there like, so do you hike a lot? He's like, oh, like not really. I'm like, yeah, I don't hike at all.
I don't hike every Sunday.
I don't know why I asked that.
I don't hike every Sunday with my girls, Pepper and Cinnamon. I don't do that at all. I don't know how to walk.
It's just so like, in what circumstance do you ever just bring up something random that you have nothing to do with?
Right. I just wanted to see if you didn't do the same things I didn't do.
He's like, do you podcast a lot? No, me neither.
Never even talked on the internet.
So he said, he was like, okay, like, yeah, I'm not like cracking open a drink at home by myself. I do it socially. He's like, but I do socially smoke. She said, nice. Cigarettes?
No. She said cigarettes. She said gross.
That's gross.
Yo, she was like,
she didn't hold back. She did not hold back. She said, that's gross.
Man. And let's I guess we'll get into it here. Like, cigarettes? How can you pair someone that smokes with someone that doesn't smoke? If that was me,
they said, oh, it doesn't matter.
Maybe he didn't tell them because he quote unquote smokes socially.
We've seen the issue. Like, yeah, no, it probably, there's no way. We've seen it on this show. Who was that one couple? Like, they literally broke up on the honeymoon because he smoked.
Derek and
yes,
Heather. Yeah.
Yes. Literally, you could go back as far as Jamie and Doug.
Yes.
Like, they had that issue too. So it's like,
yeah, it's like I would have I don't know. I'd have to assume that he didn't make that a part of his profile for getting matched. He just didn't
I think they probably thought, oh, this is social. What can that hurt? It's not like he does it every day, which is
cut to him doing it every day.
Right. Exactly. I was like, what are the odds?
Cut to him on the honeymoon, be like, I'll be right back, babe. I'm gonna smoke a cigarette out on the balcony. But just for something that, smoking for number one for your health is not great. We know that already. But just
she tells him that.
Yeah, just the smell that comes with it. Like, if you're not a cigarette smoker, being around a cigarette smoker can be like very,
yeah,
tough to deal with. So that was like, of the many red flags, it's like, oh, like here's
Yeah.
a bright red one right now.
Right. And she brings that, like, she brings up that, like, you know, it's not it's not good for your health. He's like, yeah, I'm willing to stop. Then we get a confessional. He's like, I guess I'm gonna have to go to vaping.
Yeah, that's so much better.
I was just like, okay. So then he asks, what part of town do you live in? So we know we're about to go there. That's the direction we like. It's clear as day on Apple Maps where we're headed.
You might as well be like, so do you live with your parents? Because I live with mine.
I was like, oh gosh, he's already dropped so much on her at this point. They're not easing into, or he's not easing into this at all. He's like, I'm gonna drop as much as I can up front.
Yeah.
And she either like me or she don't.
Yeah. I respect the way he's doing it. Like, let's get it all out in the open now. Give her time to digest it. Give her time to think about it. And think about it. She does.
Right. So she says she lives in the city in the West Loop, but she walks to work. So, like, she really likes that. It's very convenient. He's like, okay, well, like, I live in my parents' house. She makes a face. He's like,
she doesn't register at first. She's like, what?
Right. So wait. And then he says, I choose to live at home. I got my 2 careers. They're not kicking me out, and, it just works. He's like, she's like, oh, but you don't want to live there forever, right? And he's like, oh, for the last 3 years, like, I lived in a bar that I turned into like his condo, but then it was like too big for just him. So then he moved in with his parents.
I was like, wait, what?
This is new news.
Yeah, this was a new development. So you live in an empty bar that you, I guess, renovated to be a condo. It wouldn't surprise me if you're just living in an abandoned bar. And all the bar was still up and everything.
Right.
And he tries so hard. He's like, he tries to really smooth over. He's like, I choose to live there. Like, I don't have to live there. I choose to. Like, I'm not broke. I got money. I just want to live with my parents. I love them so much. I'm like, I don't know if you're making it better by putting that qualifier on it. Like, it's
right.
Not a great look.
Yeah. So he's saying all this stuff. She's literally just taking it all in. She doesn't really have many words. She's digesting it at this point. We go to the reception. We get this, like, I'm so glad they didn't spend too much time on this, but like with the photos and everything, they just did this like montage of everybody doing photos and stuff. So we didn't really spend too much time on that, unless it was like, I think MM and Ikechi were the only ones that had like dialogue that was shown during their pictures.
We used to spend like 5 minutes on everyone's photos
because they would try to show like how awkward it was, or if they had good chemistry, but they just couldn't get through it.
Glad for that.
So we're at the reception. They're doing their first dance. Her first impression was that he looked like a genie.
I think she specifically meant like the genie from Aladdin. Because looking at him, I was like, oh yeah, I can see that. I can kind of see what she's talking about.
I thought she was trying to just say he looked like Sinbad.
Now, because no, you're not going to get me. Sinbad was never in a genie movie. That's the thing. He was never a genie in a movie.
Wait, why does it all?
That's the thing. It's the Mandela effect. You think that Sinbad starred in a movie with him being a genie. I think they were called, what would they call it? Shazam?
It is. No, it's what you said, the Mandela effect. So I looked it up. It says they made real footage of the movie after people kept saying he portrayed a genie in a film in the 90s. The costume that led to this misconception was worn by Sinbad during a television presentation of Sinbad the Sailor movies in 1994. The movie isn't real, but the fake footage is. What?
Yeah, because everyone in our era, in your mid to late 30s, are like, I know Sinbad was in a movie called Shazam, and he was a genie. I remember the movie. I saw the movie. I went to the theaters to go see the movie.
Right.
And everybody's like, no, that does not exist.
It says Shazam wasn't a movie. It was an April Fool's joke collaboration of Sinbad and College Humor in 2017. I'm sorry. How can an April Fool's joke be that impactful?
but the April Fool's joke was only April Fool's joke because
everybody thought he was.
Since the early 2000s, people have been like, I know there was a Shazam movie starring Sinbad. I know I know that as a fact. You can't tell me there wasn't. And like, no, there was never a movie with Shazam. Called Shazam with Sinbad as a genie. Sinbad has never played a genie in a major motion picture.
Oh my God.
But everyone would swear that it was.
I see a movie cover of Sinbad and it says Shazam, and someone said, my favorite movie growing up. I wore out the VHS from watching it so much. And someone commented, said, nice try, my guy.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I'm sorry. Okay. Maybe that's what she was thinking too.
And you know what part of it was for the whole Shazam thing? Shaq in 1996 played a genie in Kazam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's part of what's tripping people up because it's like
Our
big, tall black man plays a genie. And for some reason, we all just said it was Sinbad as Shazam.
I can't. Okay, that's really weird.
I can't believe you just like I just revealed that to you right here, right now. That's amazing. But I think what Michelle means here is that he was like the genie from Aladdin.
Mm-hmm.
And I can definitely
like
see
the
that
cartoon version.
Yeah, I can see what she's talking about.
Like he could play the genie.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair.
I mean, like, hold on. I don't you're better at this than me. I'm trying to pull up a picture of it of the genie from Aladdin. Anyway, I can't do that.
Yeah,
look up the genie from Aladdin.
Yeah. So he said he told her, like, when he saw her blonde hair, like, he started to smile. She is currently overwhelmed with everyone staring right now. And he's feeling very happy. She does say in her confessional, she does not love that he lives with his parents.
She's like, that's all I'm really able to focus on right now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to focus on other things, but it's very hard because she's gobsmacked about this. And I was just like, at a certain point, I was thinking, okay, it is odd, but it's not, I don't think it's devastating. Like, she's acting like her world is ending because he lives with his parents. I'm like, I mean, it's not conventional, but
like, right. And even after getting confirmation after confirmation after confirmation that this is not a permanent situation.
Like, he's not asking you to come live with his parents with him. Like, that's not what he's doing.
Yeah. That would be
acts
one
like
thing.
That's what's going on. She acts like that once they get past 8 weeks, she's going to be forced to live with his parents. I don't think that's what he's saying or asking at all. I think that's
can't shake it. At all.
She can't get over this.
Yeah,
this fact.
So he goes and sits down with her bridesmaids and her friends, and they're like, "Look, physically, you meet all the standards of her type. Like, so that's a big weight lifted." And they were like, we just hope that like you can match her without overshadowing her. And he's like, look, I'm not gonna outshine her in whatsoever. He's like, so what makes her tick? They said, oh honey, we're not done with you.
You try to get out of this easily. Your grilling is just starting.
Yes. He does tell them that he is ready for marriage. He thinks like what's going to be important is listening, communication, compromise, and just taking it one day at a time. And they were like, okay, just so you know, she likes flowers and stuff. He's like, okay, she likes to be treated special. So he's like the little things, got it. And they like, she does like her space. He's like, oh yeah, don't we all? Because he did say that at one point earlier in the episode, he was just kind of like, yeah, like I like it when like she could do her thing, I do my thing, and we do things together.
Yeah.
And they just say that she has really high standards for herself. So that means she also has a high standards for the other people around her. So maybe that's where this is coming in with like
I think she's definitely passing judgment on him for this parent thing.
Yes.
And so I can definitely see where the friends are coming from with that. They have already kind of noticed that and seen and know that about her, which we're getting confirmed for us in these confessionals where she's just really freaking out.
Yeah. So she's with his parents. And she says she's been single for a very long time and it hasn't worked in the past because they're like, you know, what makes you do this? And she's like, look, when you're sick, you go to a doctor, right? So if you need a husband, why not ask the experts?
I think we've seen why.
Right.
No, I mean, this is kind of like talk about when I'm sick, I go to the doctor. This is like going to Dr. Kevorkian when you're sick. Do you know what Dr. Kevorkian is?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I can
My,
get the implication.
my fellow old heads out there know who Dr. Kevorkian is.
Mhm.
He was someone that, how do I put this? When you wanted to unalive yourself, you would go to this man and he would help you medically.
Yes, I was about to say if you were on Google reviews and the amount of the success rate for a doctor was about 20%, I don't think you would go to that doctor.
Like, I'm pretty sure this is gonna work. Let me just make this life-altering incision in you right now.
Right. And so she says she does tell him like he threw out things about himself really fast. She's like, he did tell me that y'all were roommates.
It's funny how she framed this. She says, "So I want." He said he told me some things, and I want to get your opinion on what this is about. Like, basically, I want you to explain why this is happening.
Right. His mom says it's a temporary thing. She's like he's ready to move on, and like we've never really pushed it. But his mom like tries to reassure her, like, look, this is temporary. He basically has no reason to move out before getting married, because it was like, well, if you could save money, might as well.
So we're hearing about this, this bar that he converted into a condo. So I'm just wondering, how long ago was that?
Right.
Was this like, like you said, did he sell that and then he got into the married at first sight process? And
He
like,
did say I sold it, but I don't know
yeah,
how long ago it was.
yeah, that's the question. Did he go into the process like, I might as well not buy anything until I have a wife to buy something with?
Yeah.
I think it's all about the framing of how he's putting this.
Yeah.
I think he's going into this headlong like, hey, just so you know, I live with my parents. Not, you could frame it to be like, listen, I sold my house and I just didn't want to buy anything else until I got married. I think that's how you should be trying to sell it, unless he's been living with his parents for like a year and was doing that before even the process started. I don't know. I just think there was a better way that he could have framed that depending on what's actually going on. Because I mean, with the whole thing about him living in this renovated bar, I was like, okay, so you have experience living on your own, paying your own bills, and being mature enough to actually get a place of your own. I think that's the fear when someone tells you, I'm 36 and I live with my parents. It's like, so do you just like not do stuff on your own? Like, are you not able to provide for yourself? Are you not able to take care of your stuff? I think that's
immediately where her mind went.
Yeah, that's the fear. But it's like, if we knew a little bit more about his situation, I think that would help in easing her fears.
Right, exactly. And so she then tells his parents, oh yeah, so he did tell me that he smokes. They're like, oh, that's just social. Like, and his mom says like she's a cancer survivor, so she like, and she used to smoke. She was like, so he understands the risk and understands like the impact that could have.
Yet he still doesn't. It's like, okay, cool.
He said he's gonna start vaping,
brother.
So Michelle goes back and talks with her friends. So, they say that he seems serious about having a serious relationship. And Michelle says she could see why they're paired. She's very excited, but she is hesitant. She starts crying. Like, wait a second. There's a shift happening.
This is like Lindsay crying in the bathroom talking crap about Mark. It's not quite to that level,
but right? Not yeah.
But she's definitely freaking out.
Not that vulgar. But she goes to the bathroom, and we still hear her. So in the bathroom, she's like, he lives with his parents, and she's like fixated on it. She says she's fixated on it. She says she's having a mental breakdown, and they're like, well, like what's the situation? Like, is he gonna move out soon? She's like, it hasn't been clear. I'm like, I think they've kind of made it clear, but and she said this is a family, or like her friends tell her this is a family with some strong bonds. So like that's probably partially reason why he's still there, because like they're a very close family.
Yeah, I appreciate her friends trying to get her to see the brighter side of this.
Yeah, like girl, it's okay.
Yeah, we know a lot of other friends that would have been like, "Girl, he's trash. You got it. Let's run away. Let's get out of here. Let's take you away from this." So it's like give it a chance. Like, let him explain to you like more of the story before you start judging. And I like that they kind of bring her down to
It seems like it.
a more reasonable level. I do like how she like left the bathroom and there's like a camera right there. She's like, oh, like there's a camera there.
Yeah.
Like they didn't hear any of that.
Right.
Like, not got a microphone on.
And this is also like, if you're watching Love is Blind this season, this is not a Nick. Like, I feel like Nick's parents, the way they handle him living with them is different than David. Like, it seems very much so David's parents are embracing the fact that he can live with them now, but it's like they understand he has to move on. Whereas Nick's parents are like, take him. He's been living here, but we want him off of our hands.
I guess. I thought it was kind of a Nick-ish type of thing. It's like
I saw it slightly different,
because the vibe I got from Nick's parents is like, oh my gosh, we love our baby so much, and that's the vibe I'm getting from from David's parents as well. That they kind of baby him a little bit, like kind of like Nick's parents seem to baby him as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. We'll see.
It seems like Nick's parents enjoyed it to a certain extent, and it was kind of like,
but they were happy.
Been here for a long time.
Yeah,
we'll have him, but if he leaves, we won't be devastated.
David's mom was like, yeah, but the doors are still open though. Like we'll have him back anytime.
We'll keep him. Yeah, if y'all wanted to move in,
like we would be okay with that.
We would have you.
Yeah.
And so she comes back out, and now it's kind of like they're about to sing happy birthday to him. And she just tells him like, oh, I needed him. He's like, are you okay? She's like, I needed a moment. He's like, okay, good. As long as you're good. I felt like he kind of brushed this off a little quickly without being a little bit more concerned. But he also was like, this is the end of the reception. Like, he's probably a little lit. Like, I didn't want to be too harsh on him in the moment. But they sing happy birthday to David and got him a gift. It was a bunch of hot Cheetos.
I wish we would have got a little more context for that.
Let us in on the inside joke.
Yeah, why it's a box.
If you're going to show it.
Does he really love hot Cheetos? Like, what's the reasoning for that? Yeah, it was weird.
And so he does say his wife is bad as hell. He says she is the best birthday gift, and he really thinks that they can make this work, and he really feels like it's meant to be. Like, meanwhile, you have her like so concerned.
She is breaking down.
Yes. They get to the hotel. He tells her like he hasn't had any hesitations, and she's like, yeah, like, okay, for me, it's gonna take me some more time to let everything sit in. It did give me pause that you live at home. He's like, look, I live there because I choose to. Okay. He's like, I came into this marriage like fresh start. This is a no judgment zone, and we just start fresh together.
Yeah, I just really think it's the I choose to that throws it off, because if it was just like this is just a temporary thing, it was kind of out of necessity, like until I figured out where I want to live after that. But he's like, no, I want to live with my parents. I love my mommy so much. I just needed to live with her. I think that is also something that's like hitting her, is like, okay,
yes,
this guy really, really loves his mommy. Like, it's great to love your mom, but to love your mommy so much you want to go live with her at 36, that might be an issue.
I think there was also like, this also could be, I know that they are, this is the main story point at this point, but I know that there was a point where, was it Ben with the Houston season?
Yeah,
was painted as a mama's boy. First couple episodes.
We thought that was going to be a huge plot point. And there was so much other bad things going on there that it really never came up again.
Yeah. They're like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's so much else wrong here that we're just going to ignore that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And listen, like, and if we recall, like we've had some other people, like I think an underreported story with Jasmine from Jasmine and Eris, Jasmine lived with her parents, and we didn't
Mm-hmm.
really. It wasn't a focus of her story. I think it was like when she went to go show him her house, it was like her parents' house. We're like, oh, okay,
Mm-hmm.
interesting, but it wasn't focused on. It's such a focus here with David, like they're hitting us over the head with it that we can't help but react to that.
Yeah. They do get ready for bed, and he does ask. He's like, "Hey, do you mind if I share the bed with you?" I thought that was a sweet question.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I thought it was a very very telling difference in their personalities. When she's getting in the bed, she's like, "Oh, what are you going to do with all these rose petals? Are we going to like collect them
Oh,
up?" And he was like, "No, we're just gonna flip the bed sheet and flip them all
he's
over the
like,
place."
"We're not cleaning it up."
Yeah, I just felt like that was such a prime example of how different their personalities are. She's like, let's not make a mess.
Right.
Let's get all this together. He's like, nah, F it. Like just flip it over onto the floor. We don't have to clean it up. The maids will get it. Like okay.
What did you think about this hotel room? Like they all had this like 2-story hotel
Yeah.
situation.
It was like a condo situation or whatever.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Like the wives were getting undressed in the upstairs bathroom, and obviously the guys were getting ready in the downstairs one. They all were going up the steps. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was nice little nice
Oh,
little
I didn't
villa they
realize
got there.
that. Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
They did get ready in that room. So let's go ahead and talk about like what we got from them on the this season on.
Cool.
So for Michelle, she is turned off by David's mom doing everything for him.
Yeah. Seems like she's probably like paying his car insurance or something, or doing his laundry, probably, I would imagine. It's this type of
Yeah.
thing. Maybe he doesn't know how to do laundry because all his life he's just taking his laundry to his mom and be like, Mom, can you do my
Right.
laundry? And yeah, I could definitely see that being an issue if he doesn't know how to do like common life stuff that a 36-year-old should do because his mother takes care of it all.
Yeah. Then he says, like, he tells her, like, oh, if you want your space, I'll give it to you.
I'll give you effing space.
Yeah.
Oh,
Then we
okay.
see them on the couch, and she's like, I think you're texting another girl. And he's like, well, what do you want me to do? And she's like, well, admit it. Are you texting another girl?
Yes, I think we know where our cheating scandal is coming in. Now, I do also want to talk about this couple swap thing because something that you didn't hear on my altar call podcast, we actually did a separate one talking about the after party that is on their Patreon.
Oh, the Patreon.
Yeah. So what Tane said was that she thinks possibly that this couple swap could be a postseason couple swap, and that's how they're
Post-season?
yeah. So like, you know how in the Where Are They Nows and all that stuff, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, after we decide to get divorced, these two people decide to date and these people decide to date.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see that really being
That's
a
fair
thing.
game.
Yeah. Where and MAFS would make it like, oh my god, it's a couple swap. When it's like, no, in actuality, it's these people, all these 4 singles have now reconfigured themselves into these 2 couples, which you always are kind of talking about reconfiguring couples. So it seems like they might do that. And if you recall, we already kind of got this in 2 seasons ago. I think it was 2 seasons ago with Clint and Gina and Mac and Dom, who they kind of ended up dating each other after, like, well, Clint and Dom didn't really date. They had a stupid kiss. I think that might be an interesting thing to think about, where it's not like a in the experiment, hey, I like your wife, you like my wife.
Let's swap.
Let's swap. It might not be as simple as that.
Right.
So,
well, the only thing that gives me pause about that is Dr. Pia in the preview saying this secret affair could come out. Why does she care pro-season?
Well, but that's a cheating scandal, though, because I think the cheating scandal and the couple swap are 2 different things.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Yeah, so I think the cheating scandal is probably definitely talking about David, because we got a lot of indication on this season on that David is.
You see, we have a cheater and 2 unrelated couple, like a swap.
Oof. Yeah, possibly. But like I said, the couple swap might be post decision day, so that wouldn't be as dramatic as Married at First Sight is making it out to be. Because of course, Married at First Sight has to have some kind of hook or some kind of gimmick to get us to keep watching.
Yeah.
So I think that's a strong theory that, because at the, after decision day, people say, hey, I kind of liked you, but I couldn't say I liked you. So let's try and date. And we just have like 50 episodes of where they now postseason content of these people dating each other or something.
Right. Oh gosh.
But I don't know. It's a theory. We don't know. We still don't know.
Yeah, that is one. That is a theory. Yes.
You don't sound like you're sold on it though.
That's just too much. Why are we doing all this? It just sounds like a lot.
I mean, if it's what happens, it's what happens.
I mean, because that's technically, well, I was about to say, didn't Houston have their own version of that? But I guess because
it wasn't really a couple swap. It was
no, I'm saying right. It wasn't a couple swap, and I'm thinking of like Rachel and Jose, where Rachel like went to her ex.
Oh yeah. That yeah.
So it's been done before.
It's been done. Yeah.
So one thing we usually do, now that all the couples have met, is we rate the couples. So we rate them on a scale from 1 to 5. 1 being we don't think they'll be together by decision day. 5 being we think they definitely will be together by decision day. And so it's kind of fun to look at it at the end of the season to see kind of how wrong we were. Based on how
that really is how it usually is, how wrong we were.
Yeah. So with David and Michelle, what are you thinking for a rating?
I have to give it a 1. I feel like, as you kids out there say, I feel like Michelle got the ick after this whole parent revelation.
As you kids say, I am your peer.
Not my peer. You're like, what? You're like at least 6 years younger than me.
6 is too much. I'm 32.
How old do you think I am?
Oh.
I know I look incredibly young and vibrant.
Mm-hmm. Interesting when you put it that way. I just thought you were 36. You were at some point.
I was at some point, yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go with 2, only because if this becomes a thing where they are able to like have these disagreements, these arguments or whatever, and then maybe they're good, their like highs are really high. I think the honeymoon will be telling. Like, do they have good chemistry? Are they able to have a good time together? And do they just have like these flaws? So I know, even though it looks like a 1 on writing, the writing is on the wall for a 1. I'm gonna just go with 2.
Yeah. And I mean, I think even just what we just saw in the episode, I still give them a 1 because their chemistry was not there. It just really wasn't. It just felt like it felt very awkward. It felt like they were strangers, which they are. But especially compared to all the other couples we had in this episode, theirs felt the most stilted and awkward, their interactions.
Yeah. Because I mean, like, girl, you are doing a lot.
You're feeling a lot of feelings right now.
Right. On day 1. And so it's only going to continue to, like, this is one of those things where she learns the information. They talk more about it off camera, then she has a better understanding. But she felt all of these feelings before they had an opportunity to talk more about it for her to fully understand the scope of the situation. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you may be right. She may have gotten the ick by this, and there's like that's the point of no return.
Yes.
Which I saw a TikTok about that today. It was like, what do you do when you're married and your spouse gives you the ick? Like, you can't just like, that's how, like.
I mean, you got to hopefully detect those icks before you pop the question. And listen, there are some, well, you can't call them icks because icks are, non-negotiable. Like, we got the
ick, it's like just like a complete turn off.
Right. There are like mini icks that you have with your spouse, but those are icks you can tolerate. Those are icks that are like those things about this person. You're like, I kind of love you in spite of, whatever the mini ick is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there are many icks. I'm not gonna say there aren't. Of course, like no one's gonna be perfectly your person. There are many icks. Your love outpaces the icks, the mini icks.
The big icks, not the mini icks.
Yeah. You can overlook the little icks because you got the big. What's the opposite of ick?
Attraction.
You got the big ook. I don't know. The ook outweighs the ick. You know what I mean? Oh, you muted. The big ooks are better than the big icks. You're still muted.
There we go.
No.
The slightest wind blew my cord for my mic and it disconnected.
Oh, well, lovely.
What happens? All right. Let's move on to our next couple.
Yeah, we're going to move on to Allan and Madison. So they're doing all their pictures. They're super dang cute. They're doing all these, little Listen, this lady loves getting on top of stuff. Because on one of the pictures, they have her like standing on top of a column. It's like she loves getting on top of counters. She loves getting on top of tables. Now she's on top of this column thing that she's taking a picture in front of.
She said, "I'm a climber."
Yeah, she loves to climb stuff. So they're having a fun time doing their pictures. She says that she is so happy, although he is not her typical type. She says her typical type is someone that is, typically like metrosexual. They're groomed, typically has an athletic body, but she says she can see why the experts match them. He's so lighthearted. He seems really kind, and he actually does seem like someone that's ready for marriage. Of course, he is just over. He's over me. He says, I could dream of a better situation. I could see us creating a life together that I never had, like a family that I never got to experience. Was that a good album?
It was a close one. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think that's as spot on as you can get it this early in the season.
Oh, yeah, I like how you're just kind of letting me down gently. Like it was terrible, but you can get there. It was bad, but you can get there. He's got the deep voice, so he's also got the slightest hint of that Chicago accent.
Yeah,
that it's gonna take a minute to get down, but I'm working on it.
I think the tone is good.
Yeah, tone's there. I just gotta get that little Chicago accent in there.
Yeah.
So we're at their reception, and the grilling starts. We are with Madison. She tells his friends that she's here. She's on cloud nine. She feels like she got matched right. They have a lot of similarities. He does a bunch of stuff that she just has been waiting for guys to want to do, like pulls her chair off for her, asks to kiss her. I was like, wow, the bar is in hell. It really is. She says she hasn't had that in so long, and it's awesome that he's doing this for her. On day one.
I mean, imagine going from the toxicity that is the world of dating apps to being married, and they're like, oh my gosh, he just did a kind thing.
Yeah, he asked to kiss me. It just seems like Madison's type, from what she said, is just these alpha bros that she probably meets at the gym or something, and just these just douchebags that
jerks.
Yeah, I've just never really grown up and just don't know how to treat a lady, Yeah. For his part, she's with her friends, and her friends go, so what is your hope for this marriage and your future? That's such a weird question. It's like, I hope it works.
Stay together.
I hope it goes well. Like, what are you supposed to say that? Like, I hope she breaks my heart. I hope this goes terribly. But for his part, he does say, he tends to really romanticize things. He says he just hopes that he can find the right person, that when they're 80, they're walking along in their walkers together, and she's going ahead of him. He has to throw one of his tennis balls on his walkers at her. Like,
as soon as that came out of his mouth, I said, "Oh, Jason's gonna love that."
Love it. His friends talk to her about, she said, what do you want of this? She says, and this was interesting commentary from Ash. She's like, listen, I know I'm hot. People say that about me all the time. But I'm looking for more than the physical. I want that emotional and that mental security. She says, people judge me on my looks all the time. She says, yeah, I'm hot, but I'm humble. I said, okay. Kind of a contradiction, but all right, cool.
He said, people say I'm gorgeous, but I haven't always been that way.
It's like, okay, you have a very, very high opinion of yourself. That's cool. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. She's looking for someone who loves her for her heart and soul, not just what's on the outside. his friends are trying to talk Allan up. They're like, if you're into something, he's really going to be into it. And she's like, well, I don't want to be into something. He's just in it because he thinks I want that. It's like, I don't want him to hate the things I do, and it pretends that he likes them. And his friend's like, no. What I meant was, like, if you really like it, he's gonna really like it because you like it. She's like, okay, all right, cool.
And she might as well say, that's what I meant when I said I don't want him to just like it because I like it.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, there are like a million things that my wife is into that I just can't do. I can't watch pimple popping videos.
Duh.
Can't do it. I
No.
cannot be into that. Can't be into the things that she's into. Can't be into, all these different this the pimple popping thing. And she also watches these videos of, like, I don't know, it's like you go into nose cavities and you, like, there's a camera that goes to the nose cavity. I don't know what it is
going
about
on
those.
back there.
Yeah, and it's weird. I can't even fake being into that.
I had no idea that was a thing. I knew that concept was a thing, not on YouTube, but like I had a sinus infection once and they did that. And so I got to watch them do it.
She freaking loves those things. Like we'll be on the couch and I'll look over and, like, talk to her and look at her phone, like, oh my God. Like, I have to, like, look away. Like, so I can't fake being into those things that she's into. Like, sometimes you just gotta have your thing and I'll have my thing. Okay.
Yeah.
She doesn't do the Marvel stuff. She doesn't do the comic book stuff. Like, that's fine. You have your thing. I'll have mine. We'll find stuff to get on the same page with together. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and like, take Married at First Sight, for example. Like, this was something that you wanted to watch and y'all watch it together. So it's like she took interest in it because, like, there are some things you don't have to love everything.
Right. Exactly.
So
yeah, so she's like, yeah, I don't want him to be in it just for me. And they're like, no, he won't. He'll be into things you are into just naturally, I guess is what they're trying to say.
Yeah.
And her friends ask about his past relationships. He's like, yeah, I was in a relationship for 4 years. It ended about a year and a half ago. He says, it got progressively more and more unhealthy. He talks about how he was constantly questioned in that relationship. Like, the example he uses is like, you're 9 minutes late. You're 9 minutes late. Where's your receipt for your gas that you said you were at the gas station? Like, wow, that's something.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that was a specific example that she said that he has never let go of because it was that absurd to him. But
I mean, that is pretty absurd.
I mean, it is absurd. It is absurd.
But also, it's like, what did you do to garner that type of behavior? I wonder.
Like, was there right? Like, for her to be so on top of where he is, like, it feels like there had to be something. The natural thought is that that was triggered by something. Yeah, not like she's just that in, because do you just turn that way? Like, wouldn't you just be that way the entire relationship?
Exactly. So he talks about how unhealthy it was. He talks about how he went through a lot growing up as well. There's a lot of custody battles, and due to that, he had a lot of counseling and therapy. He wants more out of life than what he got when he was younger. So he really wants a good foundation to grow on. So the grilling's over. We come in, we got some garter action in this episode. Not a lot of it, but mostly with Allan taking the garter off with his teeth, as they're one to do. Yeah. It struck me so weird that the mom was just the mom was in the background just like, yeah, get it, Allan, get it. I was like, okay, you're a little too involved. I did like their chemistry there. Like, she's like, oh no, get over here. She kind of makes him give her a lap dance when she's on the chair. Like, okay, they seem to really be having fun. They seem to be really connecting. So that was good. She meets back up with her friends. You can tell she's had a few. She's had a good time. She does tell her friends that the only kind of red flag she can see is that he can be a little too accommodating and loving. That's what his friends say. She worries he may be too giving.
With her saying this, that was a red flag for me with her, because it made me feel like she already feels like she's going to kind of take advantage of him. Ooh, like, it seems like she's not thinking that he's going to be able to, like, match her I don't know if it's intensity or her strength or what it is, but it already seems like she thinks he's too nice.
Yeah. I think we got that with like we got that with Chris and Nicole a lot. She's like, you know, he's just a little too nice and giving, and it's kind of a pushover. So I think that's maybe what.
But then it ended up working.
But Madison is a different person than Nicole.
Yeah.
I could see where Madison would think he's being a pushover and that being kind of a turnoff.
Yeah.
But we'll see. You know, her friends do talk about the fact that, you know, he was in a toxic relationship and he's had a tough family situation. And, you know, Madison also comes from kind of a tough family background. So Madison, they can connect on. Madison is happy because this is the first she's hearing of this family situation. She says she is happy that he was able to open up to them and that he is waiting for the right time to tell her about this. So she's that's something for her to be on the lookout for and look forward to. But she does say she feels she's on cloud nine. She's feeling great about this so far. And all systems go at this point.
Yeah.
In confessional, he does say he's so happy, he's ecstatic, as they are. We get all the shots, of course, of our people leaving their little reception to go up to their room. They leave in a hail of confetti and all this stuff. They do have this connection. He says it's unearthly. They get into the elevator, they kiss in the elevator, they get up to the room. Of course, we got to help her get out of her dress. He's like, I really like these tattoos you got going on here. Like, this is really like, you know, we get this every season of Married at First Sight. It's really just a back-a-thon. We see just so many backs of these ladies, like,
and almost, the guy just trying to figure out how do I get this off,
almost to their butts. It's like a lot of the men were commenting like, "Oh, I'm seeing a lot down here." But she gets her dress off. They go to bed. He has some broccoli underwear that she's just like, "Nope, we're gonna have to just totally fix this."
Yeah,
he's in a white tank top with some broccoli underwear. She's like, "Nope, this is gonna have to go. This is gonna have to change."
He's like, "No, this is great."
Yeah, but they do snuggle in bed. They seem very comfortable together. It's not awkward at all. And that's Allan and Madison for this episode.
Yeah, and then I'm like the next time on,
there's a lot going on in there this season on, I should say.
In this season on. Why didn't I get interesting? I don't have any notes from them. What did you get?
Oh, there's a lot. Okay. So there's one scene where Allan seems to be very upset and he goes into their kitchen and he's like punching cabinets. Something.
Yes.
He's mad about something. I think he's the one that's like burning a photograph on the stove.
That could be an exercise.
Could be, possibly. There is a clip of him and MM hugging.
That looked like the retreat.
Maybe. And I think maybe that's they're trying to get us to think that Allan and MM are the
Get out of here with that.
Are the cheating, quote unquote, cheating couple? I'm like, nice try, Married at First Sight. Nice try. We're not buying that.
No.
So I think there's going to be definitely some turmoil here in the Allan and Madison relationship, which is hard to see right now because it seems like at this moment, I would probably give them a 5 right now.
Wow.
Like they're so comfortable together. I didn't really see any red flags for either of them going into this.
The only red flags I see so far are on her side is like more. I feel like he's gotten everything he wanted, but I just worry that she's in a place where she's like, okay, I see this guy as my husband and like I'm so into him. I think she's still getting the lay of the land and trying to see if like she may think he's a great guy. Like the qualities that she's named about him is like, okay, he's great, but it hasn't been just like. It hasn't been the same, it seemed. So you'll give him a 5. I'll go a 4. It's not the end of the world. They're definitely like you said, there was chemistry with like the garter and stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if it started to go the other direction if, you know, the more that they interact, if they aren't on the same page.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about our next couple. We have Carla and Juan.
Juan and Carla.
So we already got the wedding from them last episode. Now we're at the wedding pictures. So we get a confessional from her where she says like kissing him feels so right, and she just loves kissing him. Loves kissing him.
Every time I saw them kissing, she was like kissing his top, like the top of his, like right over his lip. I was like, I don't know why you say you like kissing because you're not doing it very well. Like, did you clock that? I was like, every time they kiss, she's like kissing his mustache. I'm like, okay, this is weird.
Yeah. She does tell him that both of her parents aren't here. She explains what she explained to us. Like, her dad didn't want to like be there, like, you know, on camera, and her mom was supporting him. She does meet his parents, and she tells his parents, "I'm already in love."
Yeah, she's all about it. I like how they're all speaking Spanish. They're all just like in their own elements together. I was like, this is great. This is a really good vibe right now.
Yes, for sure. We get a confessional where she's excited to go back and like tell her parents like she's married, she likes him, like everything's going really well. We get to the reception and like they do the clinking of the glasses, and she clinks her glass too. And he's like, "Oh, what does that mean?" She's like, "You have to kiss me."
Juan, you failed the MAFS test. You failed. You haven't watched any at all. You didn't prepare for this.
How do people? Really need to know how people come on this show and have never watched it.
I couldn't do it. I like just me and my brain, how I work. I'd have to research this thing before I went into it and like see what it's like. I can't imagine going on a show and not watching any of it to understand how it works.
Right. And so they do kiss after the glasses clink. They are being very cuddly. They're like dancing in their seats. They're having a good time together. He says that like both his parents live in North Carolina. He did move to Chicago by himself. And he's like, "What does a typical like week look like for you?" She's like, "Oh, every day is different. I make my own schedule. I decide when I want to work."
It just feels like whenever you ask Carla something, her answer is pretty much just vibes,
right? Just whatever.
Just go on vibes, I just do whatever, and I just I just work with the energy and I work with the flow, and whatever is gonna happen, it happens, and I manifest it. Just I do what I have to do.
Yeah, because it's like it's one. There's like Carefree, and then there's Carla.
Yeah.
It's so Juan is like, okay, I have a lot of routine in my life. Like I work in construction. They got to be up early in the morning. So like, that's the only way that it works for me. He does tell her that he developed a social media app. And the app is basically anyone who gets to the airport early. He recognized this need where if you get to the airport 1 to 2 to 3 hours before your flight, you're just there. No one knows each other. He was like, how do we get these people to connect? How do we network? So he created an app for people to connect when they show up early for their flight.
I rubbed my eyes. I was like, Steve? Is that you? Steve Moy? Is that who you are? The app creator, the tech guy? I mean, but listen, what did you think of this idea for an app? I didn't think it was a bad idea.
I thought it was a great idea. Because what's your goal when you are going to fly?
Aysha, I feel like your flying situation and mine are two different things. Like, I don't go to 5-star airport lounge that are for like platinum flyer members or whatever. I know that you're probably in that rich lounge where all you billionaires get together. When I go to the air, I don't fly. Like I've literally been to the airport in my adult life probably 4 times.
Oh wow.
I've been to Texas twice for work. And those are the only times I've flown. The 2 times in my adult life I've ever flown are those 2 times I went to Texas for work. So I've been at an airport 4 times. Wow. And in those 4 times, I go get something to eat. I sit down at the gate. And
but how soon? Like when did you leave to get to there? Like
a couple hours early to make sure I got the
how many?
a couple hours too.
Okay. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want for you.
Yeah, I want you to make sure you get on your flight in time.
No, that's my goal too. Like, I feel comfortable if I can get to the airport, I got my eyes on the gate, I can relax, I can drink a glass of wine, I can eat some food if I want. I'm there.
Yeah, I'm a worrier. I'm a worrier to make sure that I get to where I'm going on time. I'm always fearful of like security lines. I get held up in something, I miss my flight. So I make
never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
My friend Tidra, who does listen to this podcast, she literally
I'm still working on getting you on. Tidra, Asia's not budging. I'm still working on it. Okay.
She literally
I met Tidra at the Robin's podcast event. She wants to come on the podcast. I'm working on it. It's not
it stresses me out how she handles she wants to get there like as you're boarding. Yeah. It's making me hot thinking about it now.
Yeah, I've never flown with my wife, but I feel like that would be that situation. She's like, no, we can get there like 15 minutes beforehand. We'll be fine. Like, no, we won't. But just me as a person, I'm not looking to socialize at the airport either. I'm looking to get there, sit down, and chill before my flight. I'm just not a social person in general.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see where people like you, Asia, who is very social, would be interested in something like this app.
I'm going to download this app.
Yeah, and listen, again, it's like a little side eye of like, what are you doing here? Are you here to promote an app? Is that what you're here for? I'm sure he said the name of the app like 1,000 times, and the editors were like, nope, you're not going to get us, so we're going to cut around it. We're going to cut around the name of the app.
I even look this up? Because he does say it's not profitable yet. It's not generating any revenue.
That's why he's going to look at the camera. Yet. You out there, Massland, can change that. You just download Fly With Me.
Yeah, because something like that has to really take off, or else you're at the airport and you're connecting with the two other people that have the app.
Take off. I see what you did there.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you said take off. You need something for that to take off. You need this.
Oh, I didn't even.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yes, that was on purpose.
Yes, totally.
But literally at this point, it's like, okay, you connect with the two other people that have the app. It has to like really like pick up in order to like really have an impact. You can't just like casually create social media.
I would be very curious to see what the numbers are after this episode came out. If there was a bigger uptick because people went out and found it.
Yeah. So she does tell him, like, when he mentions like the revenue, she's like, she doesn't care about money because money is energy.
Money is energy. Like, so try going to your landlord the first month and being like, I don't have any of what you would call money, but I do have this energy I can give you. Like, what? I do wonder, like, do you pay your own bills? Because someone that pays their own bills isn't like, money's just energy. You don't have to even worry about money. Like, what even is money? Like, money is just an object of the patriarchy of our society to kind of keep you down. That doesn't give, I'm working because I have to pay my freaking bills. Like, I'm worried about paying my rent this month. That's not what
it all comes from this belief that we're all light beams. This is what she believes. We're all light beams, and we came to Earth to find ourselves. And her whole thing, the whole reason like she's here to find herself is is for love and connection.
And Juan is like, I don't know what the F you're talking about. He's like, I would love to participate in what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
Okay, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I just want to act like I know what you mean.
Yeah. He does meet with her brother and his wife. And they say like, they're like, your family is amazing. And because he's like, y'all are great. He says he never would have thought he would be getting married in his 20s. Like during his 20s.
Yeah.
And he did, because he just doesn't think men are mature enough in their 20s to like make that type of commitment.
Bro, as someone that got married in his 20s, you're mature enough if you are mature enough. There's nothing that says you cannot be mature in your 20s.
Yeah.
It's so annoying when people make these things like their rules. You can't be mature when you're 20. Yeah, you can. Okay.
So then we have her with his groomsmen, and she says like he seems cool and goal driven, and she thinks like he will let her grow in her business, and she's a dreamer, and like hopefully like he can help her execute a vision. And what she thinks she can bring to his life is that she's hoping that like she can bring that go with the flow type of energy to his life. And they're like, he flows with a plan.
She's like, well, I don't flow with any plan, so hopefully I can help him not flow with a plan. And you just see his brothers just look at each other like,
ooh,
this ain't gonna work. Like, it's not gonna go good. It's not gonna go well at all.
Yeah. So yeah, she says she flows with no plan because you can't control life. And
you can control some aspects of life. You definitely can't control some life. Like
none of it.
You can't control life. You can't control what happens. Whatever happens, happens. You just gotta manifest everything.
Yeah. She does this. She has to work on her softness that she has learned in her life. So she hopes that, they can learn how to communicate with each other, get to know each other in a way that like helps their communication. And these groomsmen, they do say, look, y'all both have very strong personalities. So there's something to look out for.
Yeah, she said she was blunt and direct. I'm like, like, is there a different side of the energy light beings of like when you piss her off, she'll get like she'll go from that one stance like light beings like, now listen here, you're pissing me off. Like, do we get that? Is there the switch that flips or something? Is we get a strong Carla that's not all about love and light?
Yeah, we will see. They are dancing a lot during their reception, and she is ready for the rest of her life. She could see him being her forever, like everything. They're going to bed. They've gone up to the room, right? They're going to bed, and he pulls out the guitar. He starts playing. He's singing, and she's just like admiring it. She said, "That was beautiful."
He's like, he starts playing the guitar. The guitar is good. Like, okay, you can play the guitar. We know you got a little special doodad up on the neck of the guitar.
Yeah,
that makes me know. Oh, you play.
Not
okay.
doodad.
You play. All right. And then he's just like, today was a very special day. I got married. I'm like, oh, you should not be singing. And then he's like, he tries to get her to chime in and pitch it. He's like, come on, like freestyle with her. She's like, no, I don't do that. I don't freestyle. I'm not going to embarrass myself on national television like you are right now. I'm all about love, light, and not embarrassing myself on TV. So I'm not going to do that with you. He's like, okay, I'll just keep it going myself. Like, oh.
It also, did you feel like they went into the room with different vibes? Like she was like, okay, I'm getting in my PJs. Like this is the most like, she's like, I usually sleep naked. So like, this is something, this is my first night with my husband. Like I am ready for him to see more of me, whatever. And he's like, you see my guitar? Let's play. I just felt like he wasn't like picking up what she was putting down. Like that she had a very like sensual energy.
I think this is Juan's sensual energy. I think this is this is his preamble to other stuff that may be going on. He's like, let me serenade you, my love.
Yeah,
like that's his thing. He wants to serenade her. She did ask for it because I apparently probably already talked about it. Like, I got a guitar, I'm gonna play for you. She's like, play me the guitar. Do it, yeah. So I think that's part of his thing. He's trying to get her in the mood, get her in the feels.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting is we did have one couple talk about is it going to happen on the first night, but we didn't get what we usually get, which is every single couple talking about whether or not they're going to do it on the first night. Did you pick up any vibes of anyone that's going to do it on the first night? Of who we already talked about, maybe Madison and Allan.
About so far.
Madison and Allan, were you feeling anything there?
No. Like maybe if it was up to Allan, possibly, but I still think Madison may have been on the fence. That's just the read that I got. I don't think so. Definitely not for David and Michelle.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
I
So
think they're probably the strongest possibility so far.
Juan and Carla.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it could happen with Juan and Carla. I think there is a chance that could happen with Madison and Allan. I think there's a chance that. But yeah, I thought it was interesting that we didn't get what we usually get of like a. So are you gonna let him hit it on the first night? Well, they're so blunt and so like crazy with their questioning, with the friends questioning.
Right.
But we only got with one couple from what I can remember.
Yes.
In these receptions. But yeah, I thought, just thought it'd be an interesting thing to clock and see what we thought about that.
Yes. On this season we did get here, Carla left her job. And Juan says in a confessional, you can be crazy, but don't be stupid.
Ooh. Yikes. And listen, the thing I got from them in general from this episode is that they are very different people.
Yes.
I feel like they're going to try and trick themselves into thinking they have a lot of similarities, but they just seem like he seems very serious and she seems very not.
Yeah.
So, but was there anything else?
Yeah, that one part where they're sitting at the table and he's like, I had a very special day with David today and I didn't think about you at all. I was like, what?
What is going on there? what was that? That was weird. So that's interesting. Yeah.
I'm trying to, was there, oh, she also said like, she asked like, she was like, I want you to take care of me or something like that.
You feel like you want to take care of me or something. And it cuts to him be like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. So that easily could have been like edited, but I don't know. Yeah. So things look a little dicey. I'm not so sure. But what are you thinking with ratings for what we've seen so far?
I think I'm going to give them a 2 is where I'm leaning.
Are you serious?
You're open mouth like you can't believe I just gave them a 2. Where are you at with them?
I was at a 5.
A 5 with Juan and Carla?
Yes, I'm not going based off of this season on. I don't know what's going to happen.
Neither am I. I just told you. It seems like from this episode, they are just 2 very different personalities.
A 2?
Yeah.
Like, that may, like, I don't know. I just...
A 5?
They seem fine.
No. A 5 though?
Okay, I'm gonna go 4 because you're tripping.
If I was being generous, I'd have given them a 3. But I just feel like the ways that they were talking in the reception and how different their vibes are, how different their personalities and their lifestyles seem to be, I don't really see this working. So that's where my 2 comes from.
I feel like yes, they are very different people, but it's also one of those things that if you do get to know each other well and you can, like, if you want it to work bad enough, you could.
Well, yeah, if anyone wants to have it bad enough, they could.
Yeah.
I just
okay. I'm gonna stick with my 4. I'm not gonna let you bring me down further than that.
I'm gonna stick with my 2.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the vibes I'm getting. I'm excited that we have such different views on someone because that's always very fun to see where we end up when we start things on 2 different ends of the spectrum.
Right. Goodness.
All right. I can't believe you're trying to give him a 5. That is,
I just
unfathomable to me.
That's why you said 2. I thought you were joking.
Nah, bro, it's a 2. It's a 2. It's like a 2.8.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a 2. I'm sticking with a 2.
It's kind of like, yes, I know, like her head is in the clouds, but I feel like she's so into him at this point, and with him, I don't feel like his expectations are through the roof where he's like needs her. I think it could be so off the wall that it like works.
Okay, we'll see.
If he falls in love with her and he's like, that's just Carla.
Yeah, that's just my crazy wife, Carla. Don't mind.
That's just my light beam.
That's just my little light beam right there.
My little light beam.
And in the clouds. It's okay though. I'm financing her life and all is good.
Right.
All is well.
Because Carla can't be with a person like Carla, like somebody else who's just like, oh, whatever.
Yeah,
No?
and that's that thing where she's like, I don't think about money. Money's just energy, and especially in the like the season on, where she's like, I want you to feel like you want to take care of me.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like Juan wants someone that he has to take care of. He seems like he wants someone that's going to be as ambitious and as goal driven as him. And I don't know if he's going to get that from her.
I think that could be what he wants, but is that what he needs?
Good question. Very good question. We'll see.
All right. Who are we talking about next?
We're going to hit Akechi and MM. Okay. We are at their reception. They talk a little bit more as they're at their little table eating. He's like, so what made you do this? She's like, I don't like the dating apps. She just says, I'm very much into my job. I didn't want to be single forever. So this is the route I chose to take. And for that, I'm just like, okay, so you just kind of wanted just a ready-made husband that's going to just fold into your life. Like, you're working all the time. You're just like, he's just going to be kept man at my house, ready for me when I get there. No arguments on nothing. I was like, I don't know if that's what you should be expecting in this process.
This is the last place.
Yeah.
Go for something like that.
Yeah.
Like that, just setting yourself up for disappointment because
it's like, I just want to skip all the steps and just go straight to marriage. Like, I can see where it's like, hey, I've tried dating. I just thought this would be a good thing for me. It just seemed like she's just like, nope, I just want to go from 1 to 100. And
no, we talked about this. What was maybe the premiere with maybe the premiere. One of the last 2 episodes, we definitely talked about how it seemed like, I know I brought it up, where it seemed like she just wants to go like, this is my husband. We're like living happily ever after without doing any of the work in between.
Yeah. Tough. It's tough
because you have to want to do that work for it to work.
Yeah, and like, it's not just going to come in a nice, neat package that's going to just automatically work for you.
Yeah.
He says for him, marriage has been a desire. He didn't want just anyone. And then he talks again. Now it's a whole ass book. Now he's like, I wrote a book of letters to my wife. It almost seems like, again, we're talking about the promo stuff. It's almost like he has this book coming out. And he wanted to, hear talk about it. Like, I got a book coming out. It's a book of letters I wrote to my wife that, is not my wife yet. And she's like, and she says this, she's like, so you're going to give me that book? He's like, no.
What?
Nope.
He said, I'm going to write you a whole new set. What was all of this for? You wrote this for your future wife. Your future wife is here now. Why can't she see the letters?
He's like, nope, that's for the customers. I'm going to give you a different book.
Yeah.
That's for the reading audience. I'm going to sell this book to. You're going to get new ones. I'm like, okay, cool. And then look on her face. She's like, nope. She's like, oh, I thought that was going in a different direction. It's like, okay.
When he said, I said, why are we talking about this then if you're not going to show her?
He tells her, he doesn't really have a type. He just told them he wanted a black woman. He does say she's beautiful. It's all about energy for him. Then all of a sudden, everyone's called to the dance floor. And he's just like, it's like, yeah, let's do this thing. He's like, let's go. She's like, oh, you got something planned. He's like, yep. So he gets up on a little stage. He says, he's got 2 people up there, one at the piano, one with the mic. He says, these are some musical people in my life. And I really just wanted to speak to my wife through music. So he goes down there with MM. And this guy is on there just singing up a storm, talking about your beautiful smile with your dimples. And you came into my life. You are the one for me. I said, okay. So if you're gonna make up an original composition, an original piece, shouldn't it match what we're going through? Like, I don't know who you are, but I'm sure that we're going to find love or something. He's already talked about the fact that she's beautiful. She makes his life. He doesn't know her. She doesn't know him. Like, if we're going to make up a song, let's make it fit the narrative. It was really given the type of songs that are usually played on Married at First Sight in between the scenes.
Yes.
It's very simple, very rudimentary.
That was his audition.
this fake ass John Legend, the Wish.com John Legend that was up there, like this Jim Myth instead of John Legend. I don't know what this was. You do that thing to me, baby. You do that thing. I was like, okay. And then Ikechi's like getting up in the middle of the song. He like takes the mic very rudely, I may add.
He said, "This is my wedding."
No, I'll stage me at my wedding. And he just says the words to the song. He's like, baby, you do that thing. And he gives the mic back, goes back down.
It was.
What is happening?
It just felt so odd because it was kind of like, okay, so we don't have anything else we can show from this couple? They had no other conversations.
I mean, it's unique, right? Because we don't get this.
It's funny.
Usually.
It is funny because it's like his hands were all over this wedding, which obviously you would want in a typical scenario. Your hands are all over your wedding. But like we had his what was his godfather?
His godfather was
the officiant, and now we have his personal friends are the entertainment.
It's like he's trying to put on a show, right?
Yes.
It's like he is trying to make it all about him.
He said, "Look, when was the Houston season? Season 13. This 5 seasons ago, about 2.5 years ago." He said, "Look, this is 2 years in the making. I'm about to make my mark."
Yeah, it was a lot. It was so funny when they were going up there to do the thing. Her friend was like, "Girl, he's been praying for you."
Her friend.
It's like, what are you?
I said, does that say MM's friend?
Yeah,
and not Ikechi's friend.
Yeah, I thought it was one of his people that was like, "Girl, you don't know how long he's been praying for you. He's been talking about praying for you forever." And this friend who's obviously already gotten into the champagne.
Yeah,
it's like, "Girl, he's been praying for you, girl. He loves you already, and he doesn't even know you." It's like, okay, back up off me. You are too close.
I was so confused by that being her friend.
Hilarious. So we get the whole thing, and it's such a nice moment together. It's so fun. So we get to like the bigger reception. She sits with his people. They ask about why she's doing this. She talks about her career. She says that's been her focus for so long, but she's 35 now. She's ready to focus on that other aspect of her life. And she couldn't find those people that were ready for that commitment. So she turned to marry at first sight. And for his friends, it's good that he's found this. He's found you, because we were kind of worried about him. He was in love before, but she broke his heart, cheated on him. He gave her everything, and she devastated him. And when it ended, it really affected his relationships after that. She assures them she is all in. She really wants this, and seems to be going well there. I feel like is the type of person that can really get along with like everybody.
Yes.
She really vibes well.
She really does. Because it was kind of like, it felt like she was sitting with her friends. Like it was just an easy flowing conversation. It didn't feel like what we're about to talk about.
Yeah. So next we get the ultimate grilling, right?
Yes.
We've seen different levels of grilling in our Married at First Sight journey. This is
the like, final boss.
This is the interrogation light of like, I'm going to ask you questions now. He sits down with her cousin. He's like, "Listen, I'm kind of like the brother in the situation, so I got to figure out what you're all about." The cousin's like, "So what was your last serious relationship?" He's like, my last relationship was 12 years ago. And so her cousin's like, 12 years ago? So you're saying you haven't dealt with any women seriously in 12 years? She's like, no, I have dealt with women seriously I in that time. He's like, "How long was your most recent relationship?" He's like, like 6 months. He's like, "Oh, so you just," and Ikechi talks about how he was engaged once when he was a lot younger. And the cousin's like, "All right, so what happened?" He's like, I called it off. He's like, "So you just walked away from her?" He's like, No, it was a mutual decision. We both called it off. It's like, okay, make up your mind, man. Make up your mind. So yeah, he says since then his longest relationship was 6 or 7 months. And the cousin's like, "So what happened with those?" And Ikechi's like, "Well, they weren't ready for children, and
he said, I listened to them. I listened
to what they wanted.
But basically, they weren't ready for children, and they didn't want marriage."
And it seems like one of those things where he is like reading into things and decides to call it off. It really kind of gives like a Tim vibe. I keep comparing him to Tim from Love Is Blind. He really is just giving that vibe.
See, he's giving me Tim because he's saying all the things that he thinks you should say in the situation. Whereas like apply it to MM. Like you don't know her.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to get to know her.
Yeah, and the cousin's like, so what are your thoughts about children? You're 41, like what? And I like Ikechi's like, I'll take a child. Like I just need one at this point. Yeah, I'll take a child. He's trying to be funny. It's
but
not really
read the room.
Yeah, it's not really. This isn't the time for that. Like this is a serious conversation. This cousin's about to like jump over across his table.
He's about to walk over and tell MM this ain't it.
Yeah, like we gotta go. Let's get out of here. And the cousin's like, so you're from Houston? Like, are you planning on staying here? Like, little does he know that MM just told Ikechi like she was ready to move to Houston if need be. Like,
yeah,
he's like, all her friends are here. Her friends are her family. Like, cut to an hour ago where she's like, let's go. I'm out of here.
Wherever you want to go, I'm gonna go.
I'll ditch these losers. And the cousin's like, listen, you sound good on paper. You dress real nice. Are you gonna do what you have to do to make sure this works? He says he's going to have an open mind, but he doesn't know him, so actions are going to speak louder than words here because we don't know. And in confession, he's like, I don't know this dude. Basically, he's like, I don't know this man. He's like, he has a place in Houston. How do I know he's not running from something in Houston? It's like, right. Good point. That is
a fair question.
I know your husband, but he also still a stranger. I said, yeah,
right.
Tell it. Yeah, so that was the grilling that they got that Ikechi got.
Yeah.
I
guess yeah.
They go up to the room. There's not much that goes on in the room. He helps her take her dress off, and I think that was pretty much where we kind of left it. I don't even remember them like.
Yeah, no, I didn't see them go to sleep or.
Yeah, so that was kind of where we leave them at. What's your rating at? Well, let's talk about this season on. I think probably one of the more explosive this season ons.
Yes.
They're of course, they have to be at a all couples dinner.
A group dinner.
Where she's
I really hope this isn't the like honeymoon.
Ooh, that'd be rough. Where she tells him, I've been calling and texting you for 2 days. And you haven't responded. He says, you haven't been calling me or texting me for 2 days. She's like,
no, you haven't.
She's like, what? I have. I swear I have. She gets up and walks off. She's like, what did she say? She says, if you want me to be a clown, I can take you to the circus.
Yeah.
Or show me a clown, I'll bring you to the circus, something like that.
Yeah, I didn't get the exact quote, but yes, it was to that extent.
Yeah, that was like the big moment for them. Did you remember any other ones from that?
That was the main thing. I mean, besides the MM consoling Allan at the end. Mm-hmm. Besides that, I did see it was in the happier part of this season on.
Oh, I didn't pay any attention to that at all. I blocked that out.
He was like, it can only go up from here.
Does that mean it's in a really down place?
I don't know. I don't know because that's not great.
Yeah, I think that's not what he meant to say.
Right, but here's the thing with her yelling at him, and saying that we can imply a lot. So for her saying, I've been calling and texting you for 2 days, they have spent time apart for 2 days, which isn't good. There's a need for them to be apart.
Yeah, that's not great. Where are you at with their rating?
So right now, things seem to be like right now, he's the one I'm hesitant about. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually going to go a 3.
Yeah, I think that's good. Right now, they seem stable. I don't see anything to really take away from or really to like say this is fantastic, this is great. So I'm gonna stick in the middle with a 3. Yes, I think a 3 is good.
All right. So last but certainly not least, we got Camille and the twin, Thomas.
Thomas the twin.
Thomas the twin. Thomas.
What's up, twin?
So where are they? Camille and Thomas. Okay. So they do their first dance. He says that she looks beautiful and it was a great selection on the dress. I was like, okay, that was a good compliment. We get a confessional that he has been doing a lot of work on himself. While they're dancing, she says she feels a lot less nervous now. And he says like he is past the point in his life where he wants to play games. we get a confessional that.
So there's a point in your life you wanted to play games. You were into game playing.
Yes,
like,
you know why.
Okay.
And we get a confessional that she's feeling like he's someone she can be safe with. They do the clinking of the glass. They sit down for the reception. They do the clinking of the glasses. They kiss. And he was like, look, there are some things about me that you might find annoying. So like he's very particular. He eats one thing on his plate at a time.
Is this weird?
My brother does that.
I didn't know it was weird because I do it. I don't understand what do you like? You take some from this and then you take some from that. Like, was that what you do? Like,
well, yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, you like, I don't do that with like burger and fries. I will eat fries first because they're gonna get cold, and then I'll go in on the burger or the chicken sandwich.
That's interesting. I feel like I'm a burger first guy.
Oh, see, now that's the worst of cold fry.
How long does it take you to eat a burger? Like,
have you? There's the thing on TikTok where you should do it with your wife. Record it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you and your wife have a burger, and you eat at her pace. Like she doesn't know you're doing it though. So like when she takes a bite, you take a bite. I don't know. It's just, what's the rush?
I'm trying to like think about like how that would work.
I don't know. It's like women just generally eat burgers slower for some reason.
I guess.
Like when you take a bite of a burger, do you go in for a second bite while you're still working on that first bite?
Yeah.
See, that's too much.
You gotta swallow your food, then go on for a bite. What are you gonna like
I'm
put in your mouth,
like,
put the burger down back on the plate and be like, that's boring.
The funniest is when the girl will follow the guy and try and she's like choking, like, why are you eating so fast? But anywho, yeah, so you do eat your one chicken tender at a time.
One chicken tender at a time. I don't touch anything else until I finish one thing. Then I move on to other things. I didn't even know it was a weird thing to do, but I do.
Yeah, apparently. So she's been told she does that herself. She didn't realize she did it, but she's been told she does that. And she says her sisters have told her that she needs someone more grounded. They talk about how they both never been married before. He's like, he pauses, but I was in a 9-year relationship. She's like, how long ago was that? He's like, oh, about 4.5 years ago. We just grew apart towards the end. Like I thought I had it all figured out, but like it just didn't work out.
Yeah, we really grew apart at the end. That's what I found out. I grew one way, and she didn't realize I was growing the one way.
Right.
Of I was doing so. That's an interesting positive spin to put on that there, Thomas.
That would have been the perfect I mean, I guess that's a lot of information at once. Like at that point to be like, oh, by the way, yeah, I was unfaithful. But it's still like, ooh, he had that opportunity right there.
His strategy for revealing this was very interesting.
Yeah, if you're gonna go there, go there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he could have just left out.
Don't tell her friends before you tell her.
Right. He says that she wanted to be married, but he wasn't sure about it. And so we get a confessional that like it makes Camille a little nervous. That he has the ability to commit. She's never lived with a man. But her longest relationship was 5 years, and that ended 7 years ago. Mm-hmm. So we get him with her bridesmaids. He feels like he won the lottery. He does tell them his longest relationship was 9 years. Said he's just not a good boyfriend at the end of the relationship. And they're like, what does that mean? He's like, he does admit that he cheated. He said it was one of the lowest points of his life.
Well, he says, well, I stepped out on the relationship. They're like when you say step out, when you say step out, what do you mean? You all took like a break? You all like, what does that mean? He's like, well, I was unfaithful. I had It's like, oh, okay. So that's what you're trying to say. Like, oh boy. And the way that I feel like this is a bad move. You either tell Camille up front at that little dinner that y'all are having together, Or you just leave that out to the friends. Like, you
Yes.
don't tell the friends, and you tell Camille later down the line. Like, but to have her friends be the one to break this to Camille, it's not the way to go, my guy.
I bet you that didn't even cross his mind that they would immediately tell her.
I mean, that might tell you something about Thomas. maybe not the brightest bulb in the light socket, you know.
It's just like he was presented with the questions, he just answered, he didn't think about the repercussions. And he does say he saw a therapist for 6 months after this.
It's so interesting the way he made going to a therapist sound like a prison sentence. Like,
Yeah.
You know,
I did 6 months.
I did 6 long months of time in therapy to atone for my sins of cheating. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's like this thing of just like, yeah, I did my 6 months to fix it, and now my record's clean. Like, I'm all good now. I figured out what was wrong with me. Won't do it anymore. It's interesting way to kind of view therapy in that way. Like, I did my long 6 months, man. I did my bid.
I did
my time.
What do we know about that?
Did my time.
And
I watch prison shows. I watch 60 Days In.
Oh, you did.
I know the lingo.
Yeah, I watched Orange Is the New Black.
Yeah, I put money on my books,
right.
Gentlemen.
Yeah. So rightfully so, the friends are concerned because they're like, look, in this situation, you only have 8 weeks. You didn't know in 9 years. How you gonna know in 8 weeks? Oh. He's like, he just thinks he's ready. And they were just young, and it was over a long period of time.
Basically, he's like, the friends are trying to help him out. Like, so you just feel like you were in it so long, you just had to stay there, even though you didn't want to be there. He's like, yeah, that. Like,
yeah.
That
Any other options?
Yeah. Any other multiple choice? No? Okay. I think that's the best one. We're gonna stick with that one.
Right. So she's with his groomsmen, and she said that he does clean up nice. His twin brother is asking about, like, what does she think about combining families, because they're like very close. So what does she think about coming over, hanging out and stuff? She's like, oh, that's where I thrive. Like, I need somebody whose family is their top priority. And then she does ask them about his commitment issues.
That MAFS editors strike again, because she's like, do you think he can be committed and stay committed? They're just like, let's look at each other like, you want to tell her?
Y'all think she know about that 9-year relationship yet?
You want to tell her, or you want me to tell her? Right. No, we'll let him tell her how he was unfaithful and cheated on that 9-year relationship. Like, right. It's like, I'll let you handle that.
So his twin does say he feels like Thomas just felt compelled to stay in something that wasn't meant for him. He also gives.
We're trying to dance around the subject of like, we don't want to tell you he cheated on that relationship. We're gonna let him tell you that.
They weren't aligned, and there was some crossover. There was some
overlap. Yeah, there were just some situations that happened. We're gonna let Thomas, explain a little more, but there was just some things that happened. Yeah. No big deal. Don't worry about it.
There was a timeline conflict.
Yeah, there's a question about when things should have been done.
Right. Things were just done out of order.
Yeah, Thomas gets confused sometimes. He does stuff backwards. Yeah. You got to
he stepped out, and then he was like, oh wait, I haven't ended that other thing. Then he went back, and the therapist helped him see that.
Yeah, he's so forgetful. He thought he had already broken up with the girl.
Yeah, it happens. The twin gives advice. I don't know why what's his name?
Tim. It's Tim and Thomas.
Tim, okay. Yeah. So Tim is the twin brother. So Tim says, gives advice about Thomas being closed off. He was like, I want to challenge you to help open him up a bit. It's like, that's a big feat.
How about he already come in open? Okay. I feel like before he did this, he should have opened up already. Like that's a pre-work that should have been done. I shouldn't have to come in and open him up. He should already be open. Like, he should already come in open.
Yeah.
I should have to be like, he should already come in pre-opened. Like I shouldn't
Yeah.
have to break my nails trying to open up this Thomas package. It should already be well open for me. That was y'all's job as a family. Y'all should have opened them up.
Like how you like when you're buying scissors for the first time, you need scissors to open scissors.
Exactly.
It's too much.
Too much.
First time in life. And so they do tell her they absolutely think he's ready. They said this is the most committed they've ever seen him. I'm like, that's a little, he's committed to the process. He just met me.
You're right. Right. Yeah. It's like, who are you to judge how committed another person is?
Right.
He's so committed because he told me he was.
Yeah. And she's hoping this is not just like a phase for him. She goes back to her bridesmaids. She tells them she likes him. They're like, yeah, he seems like a good dude.
You hear this?
Yeah.
This might change your mind.
She's like, his core values are amazing. They're like, well, look, we don't want to be the ones to tell you, but he did admit to stepping out of a relationship. So she's like, really?
She was shocked. She was like, oh,
She basically was like, did he say anything else? Like,
yeah, did he give a reason?
Yeah, they're like, and then her one friend was like, but I will say he did go to therapy. And so she's like, he's working on himself.
Therapy has turned into the magic word to just fix everything.
Mm-hmm.
But he went to therapy though. Oh, okay. So we're good then. We're good.
Right.
He went to therapy.
I mean, because like, look, I love therapy. Therapy is amazing. It has been very helpful for me this year, specifically.
I can imagine how and why. Maybe you were thinking of empires falling. Who knows? You know,
very, very helpful. But there is also the part of therapy where people, like the person in therapy, has to be open and willing to receiving help. Just because you're in therapy doesn't mean that you are changed from therapy.
Yeah. It seems like that's the view that we've had of therapy, especially in like these type of reality shows.
Yeah.
Like, when someone just says they've been to therapy again,
like, we're good.
Yeah. And it's a way for like, I can think of, was it Clay on the last Love Is Blind scene? He's like, but I'm gonna go to therapy though. It's like, okay, you're gonna go to therapy. You're gonna fix it all. No problem.
Yes.
And people just use that word to just cover up a lot of things.
Yes.
Even though they may not have done the actual work to help them in that
exactly. way. And so they are the ones that do ask her, like, what you thinking about tonight? Like, it's gonna happen. And she's like, I don't know if tonight will be the night. She does say, like, before they leave their wedding, I think it was like a confessional, like she always wanted a fairy tale ending and she feels like this is what she got. I thought it was interesting. All the couples got different exit things. They got bubbles, which I thought was
nice.
I probably get a little slippery, but
yeah.
There was the couple that just had, like, everyone had a standing balloon. They were bouncing up and down.
David and Michelle had like lightsaber things.
Yeah.
He took one out there with him in the elevator because he's a big kid.
Right. The one had like the poppers that like had confetti.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then there was I can't remember what the other one was. But they go to their hotel. She's like, hey, this is one of the things. I brought my own pillowcase. She has the silk pillowcase.
Like, I've heard of that.
I've heard of that.
He
just doesn't seem very fun.
Yeah, he's very kind of serious and straight-laced. So
very serious guy. Like, at least with Allan, like, okay, dad jokes, okay. But at least he seems playful.
He has a sense of humor.
Yes. I think that's
it may not be a good sense of humor, but it's a sense of humor.
He has a sense of humor.
Yeah.
I think that's my like hesitancy with this couple so far is like, she seems fun. She seems like she wants to have a good time, but he seems very serious and lacking a sense of humor.
Kind of regimented. I think she can bring that fun side out of him.
Mm-hmm.
I think she'll be able to do that with kind of how just kind of fun she seems to be, how kind of like light she is. So I can see her bringing that out of him and him being a little bit able to kind of, because I mean, listen, it could be nerves, right?
It could be.
First
Yeah,
time
this
meeting
is a
this
wedding
woman.
day.
This is his
Yeah.
wife now. It could just be he's nervous. He's not as his people say, he's not ready to be open yet. He's not open yet. So
Yeah.
once we crack him open, we can find a sense of humor in there. We can run around and say, okay, found the humor.
And have fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and have fun. So I'm not going to totally discount them yet. What makes me think like that they might be the couple this season is that on this season we barely got anything from them.
Well, she did when she was talking to an expert. She did say, "I'm missing the swag factor."
But that was a quote taken out of context. That they didn't even show her saying that.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't show her saying that to an expert. So who knows where that's actually from?
I mean, it could the statement itself could be true,
right? It could be about him.
It could also not be like, she's telling him directly. It's just like if you have any issues, if you have any pink flags, what are you thinking?
Yeah, especially some of the other stuff we got from the other couples. It seems like they don't have a lot going on.
Yeah.
In the season preview.
She did say that they had sex, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that might have been on the honeymoon, so they might be happening. Might be happening tonight. Who knows?
Yeah.
So I really think if you're going with the ratings, I really like them. I like their thing. I don't think they have the chemistry level yet.
Yeah, but that could come.
Yeah, I think that'll definitely be in the offing. So I think I want to give them a 4 for my rating.
Ooh. A 4 feels high for me for them right now, only because of like the chemistry. Like it would be one thing if
they have the Allan Madison chemistry, I'd give them a 5.
Yes, exactly. Like if that's the problem, is like, okay, maybe on paper they work, but we don't see that yet. Like so that's a tough thing. Then they don't have that initial just like instant chemistry. They are both in this for the right reason. They're both hopeful. Yeah. That's a start. Like,
why'd you say it like that?
It's hard. It's hard to
start.
It's hard to even get that these days because it's just like, I don't know. People
people suck.
La about this. So at least they both want it. So I'm a 3 for now. I definitely could go up once we see like what they're like on the honeymoon. Okay. So where that leaves us is for David and Michelle. I gave them a 2. You gave them a 1. Allan and Madison, I gave them a 4. You gave them a 5. Juan and Carla, I gave them a 4. You gave them a 2. EKG and MM, we both gave them 3s. Thomas and Camille, I gave them a 3. You gave them a 4.
Okay. Can't wait to see how right I am and wrong you are.
Or the other way.
I doubt it though, right?
Thank y'all so much for sticking with us. We do have an exciting announcement. There will be an additional podcast coming out this week. We will be interviewing. Drum roll, please.
Pastor Cal.
Woo!
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be nerve-wracking. It's gonna be. I mean, listen, we've got some experience. We've interviewed some of Married at First Sight cast before, but this is a whole other level. This is an expert with years and years of time on the show. Mm-hmm. So listen. One of the perks of being in our Facebook group is that they were the first to know that this was happening. We posted in there of like, hey, might be talking to a certain pastor. Any input you want to give, any question you want us to ask, not saying those questions will be asked. Right. We just want to know what y'all would ask or that you all want us to ask. Now, obviously, this is going to be some like gotcha journalism of like, so why is this success story so bad? Or like, why aren't y'all more involved in the couple's lives?
Who's your least favorite husband?
Well, I mean, I might ask that. And no, I will not be doing Dirty Pastor Cal. Dirty Creepy Pastor Cal imitations to Pastor Cal. That would be too cringeworthy, and we want to maintain a good relationship with the people over at the Married at First Sight headquarters that are allowing this interview to happen.
MAFS headquarters.
Yeah, so no, I'm not going to be doing creepy Pastor Cal to Pastor Cal.
Yeah.
We're going to be respectful. We're going to ask respectful questions. But it's very exciting and
Yes. So stay
great
tuned.
great opportunity for us. So yeah, it's gonna be coming your way at some point this week.
Yeah, look for it on our feed at the end of the week. If you are subscribed to Love at First Sight feed, then you will have already known. You will know as soon as it drops. So definitely stay tuned for that. So we're very excited. And then also, yeah, make sure you go join the Facebook group. Put in the password. The password is
That thing you do.
That thing you do. Yeah, and then just make sure you go subscribe also to the RHAP YouTube channel. So that's where you can also watch this podcast. Jason, what are you up to?
You can find me on Twitter at JAYR1085. Of course, you got this podcast. You got the Love is Blind podcast with me, Aysha, and Mary. Finale, well, not finale, but I guess technically finale / reunion is going to be coming this week. Over on the Good Pod, me and Marissa Garza are talking about The Good Wife and Elsbeth right now. We're doing our Good Wife rewatch. We're almost into season 2. Elsbeth is, of course, on season 2, and we'll be doing those episodes as they come out. So come join us. If it's a show you've never watched, come discover something old that is new to you. If you did watch it before, come and have fun rewatching with us. Aysha, what about you? What you got?
Yeah, y'all can catch me recapping the great 90s hit Shazam. Just kidding. Y'all can follow me on all social media at Aysha Like Aysha. That's AYSHA, like ASIA. And yeah, like Jason said, we'll be closing out Love is Blind this week. And then, we'll be here every week talking about Married at First Sight. So make sure you keep an eye out for our interview with Pastor Cal later this week. And also just make sure you go subscribe so you will know as soon as it drops. We will see y'all next week. Bye.